with you all. And so on behalf of all of the Young Life staff, the committee who helped put this on, the volunteer leaders who give so much of their time and energy, and most of all, on behalf of your middle and high school kids, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being in it with us. Thank you for being here, for supporting Young Life, or for maybe coming and taking a look at what we do for the very first time. The truth is that we need you. We need you because you're a huge part of making this ministry go. And with your help, we want to make sure that every single kid in North Dallas and beyond has the chance not only to find a community, a leader, a connecting point, a place to belong, but also, and most importantly, a chance to encounter the living God. Founder Young Life said, we're all about kids, and we're all about Jesus, and don't you forget it. And we haven't. You see, he believed, as we do, that every single kid has the right to know that their Heavenly Father is crazy about them. They have the right to know about the life that Jesus talked about in John 10:10, life to the full, life abundant. And Young Life has not stopped during this time. In fact, we have gone hard to try to find ways to continue to connect with kids and share with them about this God who loves them unconditionally and the life that he has to offer them, because the reality is that that's all kids want, is life, full life, true life, adventurous life, and then even more so, love. A love that is unconditional, a God that loves them no matter where they've been, where they are, where they're going. And that's what this song is about. She says, hey, 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 how does that song go? She turns it up on the radio and she's gonna be a superstar tonight. She's got diamonds and bling and things that make her sing. She's got a number 4 dress size and self-esteem, and she knows a whole lot about almost everything. She's a regular high school beauty queen, and all that she wants is love, and all she wants. And he says, I go left and I go right, I go every which way I wish I might, and I do anything I want most all of the time. And he's got a jacked up Texas truck kind of right, and he's hard on the gas and easy on the eyes, but it's nothing more than just a cheap disguise, as he's got a messed up family, messed up life, and all he wants is love, and all he wants is love. And he says that I'm the outcast, and I'm afraid, I'm ashamed most every single day. She says, I've been broken and I've been used, I'm the same as all of you. And somewhere deep down inside we know there's gotta be more than the things that we see here. Something to be here. If appearances lie, then I'm gonna die if I don't find the thing to believe here. Jesus on me, I'm talking about love, love, love. In the morning, starlight, star bright, wake me before the sunrise, take me through the day, through the moonlight, blowing in the window like a dandelion, with a shine, shine, shine in the shadows, beating down the darkness, showing me the goodness, raining on the pain, doing it again and again and again. 'Cause all that we want is love, and all we want is love. But I tell you that all He gives is love, and all He gives. Yeah, it's true. It's true. 1 Thessalonians 2:8 says, "We loved you so much that we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of Christ, but our lives as well, because you become so dear to us." And this is a theme verse in Young Life, because we share the gospel with kids, yes, but we also share our lives with kids. Young Life leaders go where kids go. It's a thing that we call contact work, and it's really the heart of the ministry and the mission. It just means going and being in their world, on their turf with them. It was in 1939 that a young pastor in a little town just north of you in Gainesville, Texas, he was speaking to the senior pastor at his church, and he said, "You know, I feel like the kids that really need to come to youth group here, they won't come, and I don't know how to get them here." And the senior pastor thought about that for a while, and then he said, "Well, you know, Jim, maybe if the kids won't come across the street to us, maybe we need to start going across the street and go to them." And 2 years later, in 1941, the Young Life mission was formed on those principles, and we have been going across the street to kids ever since. For your kids, it might mean going and hanging out at a taco joint with them and their friends, or going to a football or volleyball game, or becoming a coach, or going to a recital. It's just being in their world with their friends. And if you've never tried it, you should, because I promise you, you'll have more respect for these leaders than you would believe, because it will scare you to death. I mean, I know for me, whenever I set foot on any middle or high school campus, I am transported back into time, and all the insecurities come flooding back. And I remember myself as that freshman in high school, just longing for a hope, a place to belong, not knowing who I was. I mean, you could picture me back then. I looked similar. I had short hair on top, long hair in the back. I was business by day and I was party by night. I wore Jordache jeans and a hyper-color t-shirt, and I was a fast driver. I had a home perm in the back of my hair that my big brother gave me. I was a fast driver. I drove a 1969 jet black Chevrolet Camaro with glass packs on the bottom and nitrous in the trunk. In my dreams. I actually drove a 1985 peach-colored Ford Fiesta. It was 4 cylinders of pure power. But before I turned 16, when I was a freshman, I had one friend. His name was Trace. And Trace and I, we would sit in the lunchroom together every day, just the two of us. And we would see this guy come in almost every day. And we didn't know what he did or why he was there, but we knew he was awesome. Everybody loved him, and he knew everybody. Everyone knew him. His name was Dave, but we called him Super Dave. And one day, Super Dave came walking up to our table, and Trey said, Jonah, look, I think Super Dave's walking over." And I said, "Oh, I think you're right. Be cool." And he came up and he said, "Hey, you're Trace, right? And you're Jonah." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Hi, my name's Dave." And I said, "Super Dave." And he said, "Hey, I heard you guys are big skiers. Is that right?" And yeah, I was. I grew up in a little tiny town in the middle of the mountains of Colorado called Buena Vista. And we didn't have movie theaters or McDonald's. We had mountains and rivers. And so I loved to ski. And I said, yeah, we like to ski. And he said, "Well, I do too." And I was wondering, would you guys ever want to go up to the mountain with me? I'd love to pick you up, give you a ride, and we could hang out at the mountain all day, and then I'll take you back home. And this was before I had my Ford Fiesta. And y'all, my first thought was, wow, That's super creepy, man. But then I thought about it. My next thought was, well, but we do need a ride once in a while. And so I said, okay, we'll go with you. And we did. And we started building a friendship with Dave. We kept going skiing. And after David sort of earned the right to be heard, it's what we call it in Young Life. It really just means that, kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And after Dave had really earned the right to be heard with us, he said, hey, have you ever heard of Young Life? And we said, yeah, there's some camps around here, but we don't know what they do. And he said, we do this thing called Young Life Club every week, and it's super fun. There's games and skits, and a lot of the cute girls go. And so we said, okay, we want to go to that place. And so we did. Young Life Club it's a weekly gathering. We call it really a party with a purpose. It's kind of controlled chaos and a lot of fun and skits and games, singing, and then at the end, a message about who Jesus really is. And it was at Young Life Club that my picture of Jesus started to change, where Jesus really came to life. And it was at Young Life Club where I felt accepted for the dorky kid that I was. I felt like I belonged. And it was also at Young Life Club I found a place to go to stay out of trouble. Because, I wanted trouble back then. Do you remember that wild high school heart? We were all searching for something, and we were willing to go anywhere to find it. And most of us went to the wrong places because we're broken people. And that's what this song's about. I had a broken home, I had a broken soul, I had a broken life, broken me. Broken home, broken soul, I got broken bones, a broken phone, I got a broken life, broken me. This is the story of a Pharisee. He said, hey there son, I haven't seen you in a while. If you want to live a life that's free and true, you gotta go to church, go with a smile. And I said, no man, no, who are you to judge me? I'm just trying to figure out how to be free. Because a broken man, the one in need of grace, all that broken man is me. Can't you see I got a broken home, broken soul, I got broken bones, a broken phone, I got a broken life, broken me. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I was a broken kid, and I'm going to share a little bit more about that with you in a second. But I do want to remind you, this event, it's a fundraiser. It's a different kind of fundraiser, but it's a fundraiser. And in North Dallas, we have an annual budget of $578,000 that we have to raise in order to keep the ministry going. And that's a lot of money, but that money comes solely from your community, and it goes solely back to ministry with your kids, which I think is incredible. And I think the legacy in North Dallas is absolutely incredible. And so for this event, we'd love to raise half of that if possible. And so I'm going to remind you once or twice more before we leave tonight of that number of $578,000. But before I do that, I kind of want to show you what I just did. It's you've maybe seen it before. It's a thing called live looping, and there's a guy named Ed Sheeran who does it. He stole it from me. Okay. Basically, what live looping is you start recording a measure or any number of measures of music by kicking down to start at the beginning of a measure, and then you stop recording at the beginning of another measure, and then it plays it all back in a loop like this. So it'll just keep playing that. If you don't kick it right on time, it's a train wreck, but that's pretty good. It'll keep playing that all back in a loop. And then I can do what's called overdubbing, which is to play, record on top of this. I could do 100 different overdubs if I wanted. I could. Or if I want to be more, hip with the young people, I could do some. I could do some of that too, or if I want to be more like my generation, I can. And then obviously if I talk into that mic over there, it takes whatever I say and then it puts that in the loop. And then I can also take loops out that I previously recorded, just in case, some of the music is getting in the way of the message I'm trying to get across to my audience. So 578,000. 578,000. Yeah, 578,000. It does subliminal messages too. So that's the looper. I would have gone to Young Life Club every single day of the week if I could have, because for me in high school, that was my refuge. And that was the place, like I said before, where I really felt like I belonged. And I kept going to Young Life Club, and after a while, Super Dave said to me, "So Jonah, would you want to go to summer camp this summer with us?" And I said, "Well, what's summer camp?" And he said, oh, it's incredible. It's amazing. It's a whole week long. It's just like Young Life Club, except it's even more fun. And there's 20 times as many girls that go, and they're all from California. And I said, yes, I want to go to that place, because like I said in that first song, all we want is love. Like, I wanted love. Do you remember that wild high school heart? We wanted to find love, and I was in a couple little relationships here and there in high school, but I don't know if you can relate to me or not, but they all seem kind of like one-sided, like the kind where it really felt like she and I were both really in love with her, but neither of us cared for me all that much. So yeah, I want to find love. Dave said, well, you just get your deposit in by such and such a date, and you'll be good to go. And I said, oh, I didn't know this thing cost money, and he said, yeah. And I said, my family really doesn't have any extra money, Dave, so I'm sorry, I can't go to camp. And I grew up two hard-working, blue-collar parents. My dad was, he worked down in the middle of a mountain in a mine called Climax, just outside of Leadville, Colorado. And when I was in third grade, he was injured, and so he was disabled, and then he became dependent on prescription narcotic drugs, and then basically just abused drugs for the rest of my growing up. And so he was there, but not really. And then my mom was the one who worked, and she provided for our family, and so we didn't have a whole lot. So I said, yeah, Dave, that doesn't sound like something that's going to work for me. And he said, oh, we'll figure it out. We'll fundraise. We'll do the whole thing. And so we did. We did the car wash, thing, and all those things you do to raise money. And the deadline came, and Dave said, Jonah, I haven't checked yet. Have you raised all your money to go to camp this summer? And I said, Dave, this whole process has totally taught me that I'm a complete slacker. I don't even think I've raised half my money. I don't think I can go. And he said, oh. And then about a week or two later, I got a phone call, and I said, hello? And I heard, Jonah, it's Super Dave. I said, yeah? And he said, you're never going to believe it. I just got off the phone with somebody who wants to pay for you to go to Young Life Camp. And I said, really, why? And he said, I really think you're supposed to be there. And y'all, I don't know who that person was or who that couple was that did that for me, but I wish I did, because I would love to look them in the eye and say, did you know that because of you, my whole life changed forever, forever. And it's hard to believe that a kid's life could change in a week of camp. But the reality is that a kid's life can change in an instant when they are confronted with the love of their Heavenly Father. In an instant. Young Life Camp, it's incredible. It's a big part of our mission, and it's just a way to get kids out of their normal environment into a Christ-filled community of adventure and fun. And they're 5-star resorts that just have everything to them. But for me, it wasn't the zip lines or the ropes course or the horses that I love most. For me, it was that every night we would go to club, just like back at home. The speaker would speak, and then we would go back to our cabins. We would sit in a circle, me and my guys, and we would talk. And for me, this is the first time in my life I ever talked about anything. Right? If you don't have parents or people engaging you, you take all the pain in your life and you stuff it down deep. And I remember sitting in that circle, and many of you probably have done the same. And I watched walls fall down. And I watched hearts start to change. You see, the speaker shared with us that yes, we are broken people, and we can't sort of get to God by our own good merits. But God loved us so much that while we were yet broken, while we were yet sinners, He sent His Son to die, to pay the price for us so that we could be in right relationship with God. And relationship with God, that concept changed everything in my life. I went back back home after camp, and Dave checked in with me, and he said, so where did all that land with you? And I said, honestly, Dave, I still have a lot of questions. I've heard a lot of this growing up, but the reality is that I just want to be like you. I just want whatever you have. And did you know that your kids want to be like their Young Life leader? And that's because what Dave had was what your Young Life leaders have. Dave had Jesus. And so Dave got me plugged into Campaigners, which is one of the names we call our small groups. And it's where kids have the chance to grow deeper in their faith, ask hard questions, learn to read the Bible, have community. He got me plugged in there, and then he got me plugged into the local church. Because make no mistake, y'all, Young Life is not church. It's not meant to take the place of your local church. In fact, we are partners with the local church, and we would love it if every single kid ended up in a community of believers at church. And then from there, I went off to the University of Colorado, where I studied various things for 5 years. And after those 5 years, I realized the only thing I wanted to do with my life really was to play this guitar and to share my simple story of how one community just like you supported and gathered around and lifted up my Young Life leader, Super Dave, who believed that I was worth something. And it's for that reason that I'm not only unashamed, but I feel honored and privileged that I get to be the guy on this virtual fundraiser to ask you all to help us raise the money to continue growing this ministry and continue going after your kids for Christ. And whether you have kids that are young, kids that are in middle or high school, kids that are older, or no kids at all, the kids in North Dallas are your kids. They're your community, the people that God has entrusted you with. So I want to encourage you, and I want to charge you to take ownership of your kids. I was thinking about it on the drive here to this little studio space today. I was thinking about it, and it was in 2008. I was asked to play a couple songs at a Young Life fundraiser in Houston, Texas. It was going to be an easy gig. I was just going to show up, play 2 songs, and it was going to be, I'd be done, no talking or anything. And right before I went on stage, the area director of Young Life said, "Hey, Jonah, can you also do the financial pitch?" And I said, "What? No way, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an artist. I don't know anything about finances. I don't have any finances. Nobody out there is going to respect me and my long hair and my skinny jeans." And he said, "We really don't have a plan B." So I said, "Oh, no, what do you want me to say?" And he said, "You just need to go out there and tell them we need to raise $375,000 tonight, and we'll be good to go." I said, "Oh, great. Yeah, no problem." I went backstage, and there was a young high school girl who was going to share her story just before me. And she said, "Jonah, are you okay?" I was pacing back and forth, and I said, No, this is terrible. That guy just told me I needed to ask these people for $375,000. It's 2008. The stock market, the housing market has crashed. Everybody's in financial panic, and nobody's going to give anything tonight, and they're going to blame it all on me. And without missing a beat, this young lady said, "Oh, this is not about you. Right? Like, this is not about you or me or anything we're doing tonight. This is about who God brought into this room." And I think that if these people ask God how they're supposed to get involved and what they're supposed to give, we'll raise whatever we need to raise. And then second of all, I think if times are hard for some people financially, well, maybe they could just look at their life and realize which investments are foolish and which ones are wise. And Young Life is a wise investment, I think. And y'all, I stopped and I thought, I'm going to use all of that tonight. And I did, because that young lady was speaking the cold, hard truth about the difference between God's economy and man's economy, right? Like, the markets go up and down. We've seen it. They go up and down. But the investment you make in your kids, it never changes. it's always worth it, and it pays dividends that you may not even see until maybe one day you are face to face with a kid like me that says, do you know that because of you, my whole life changed? And Young Life is committed to every kid, and we are committed to sharing the love of Jesus with every kid that we can. Whether it's through a Zoom call, whether it's through a phone call, whether it's meeting up and social distancing, none of that is going to stop us. We are going to keep going after kids for His name's sake. And so my ask is, would you help us? Would you dive in with us? Would you really dive in? And for some of you diving in, that might mean giving $50, $100 a month. Which is amazing. And for others, diving in for you and stretching yourself might mean writing a check for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. It's different for everybody. But I want to encourage and implore you, based on what God has entrusted you with financially, would you be bold in your giving? Would you dive in? Would you partner with us? That's really the heart of this. And then here's really the how. So I'm just going to sort of walk you through. There's going to be a link on your screen. You can click that link, and it'll kind of walk you through ways that you can give. Now, you're going to have the option of either giving a one-time gift or giving a monthly gift. And honestly, we need one-time gifts, absolutely. But, I can't stress enough the importance of monthly giving. It just helps us budget. It helps us know that you're on our team as our partners. And usually a monthly gift goes further. You're able to give a little more if you give monthly. So would you consider a monthly gift so that we can grow our monthly donor base? And if you already give monthly, hey, would you consider maybe upping your gift a little bit? Because we want to reach this goal of raising about half of our annual budget. This is our big fundraiser. It's a tough thing to do over an online deal, but we believe that you guys are invested in Young Life and in your kids. And so click the link on your screen, or if you're at a watch party with friends, your host will have some pledge cards, and they will help walk you through anything you need on that. You can also go to northdallasyounglife.com if you'd like to give there. But right now, we're going to give you a chance to pass out the cards, to click on the link, and I'm going to play some music to give by. This is a song that I usually call the one I play while people are writing their checks. What if I fall? Will you catch me? And what if I call? Will you hear me? And what if I trust? Oh, will you help me? If I'm drowning, will you save me? When the day is done, all you sons and daughters, we tread our way through the weary waters, and we hold on tight to the things we think that we adore. Oh, there is something in the wind that's saying, yeah, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. Try to find a love that doesn't leave us, and a life that doesn't hurt, and a heart that doesn't beat us down. Every time we think that we can walk the line, oh, but there is something in the wind that's saying, yeah, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. Something in the wind that's saying, yeah, there's got to be. And what if I fall? Will you catch me? And what if I call? Will you hear me? And what What if I trust? Oh, will you help me? And if I'm drowning, will you save me? What if I fall? Will you catch me? What if I call? Will you hear me? And what if I trust? Oh, will you help me? And if I'm drowning, will you save me? What if I fall? Oh, will you catch me? And what if I call? Are you gonna hear me? And what if I trust? Oh, help me. And if I'm drowning, save me. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening to my story and the story of Young Life. God bless you. God bless your community. Thanks. See you soon, I hope.
Thank you, Jonah, and thank you for being with us this evening. It never gets old when I get to hear a story about how a Young Life leader entered into a teenager's world and it changed everything. It's my story, and it's many of your stories, and it's the story that is being written in so many places in our city right now.
There are lots of ways that we would like to invite you to be participants in ministry. As we shared, there are 13,000 students in our schools. We are always looking for more volunteer leaders because we believe that every student deserves to have someone enter into their world and to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with them.
If that is not how you feel the Lord is leading you to get involved, you might consider joining me on committee. We are a group of 30 plus adults who use our God-given talents and gifts to serve this ministry.
And tonight, as Jonah shared, this is a fundraiser. We count on our banquet to raise a third of our annual budget. We would invite you specifically to join us as a monthly donor. Ministry is happening every day, every week, and every month. And we believe that the best way to partner with Young Life is through being a monthly supporter.
We've provided links to give, ways to get involved, and more information right here and on our website. And so we'd ask you to join us. The Lord is doing great works in and through this ministry, and we would love for you to be a part of it.
As Jonah shared, Young Life started 80 years ago in Gainesville, Texas, and was designated TX01. The headquarters of Young Life then moved to Dallas, and TX01, today known as North Dallas Young Life, is continuing the ministry, and the mission hasn't changed. That we would enter into a world of kids, introducing them to the person of Jesus and helping them grow in their faith.
We hope that you've been encouraged this evening, and we hope that you will partner with us on the work that's being done in our schools. Join us in reaching every kid in North Dallas. Thank you for being with us this evening, and we hope to be in person with you soon.